Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to second this bill that has been moved by Senator for Kericho. Mr. Speaker, for the record, you know, I went to a school that is in a village where Senator Cheruiyot comes from, in Kabianga. So it's my pleasure to have served with him in NADCO. And Mr. Speaker, without the spirit of give and take, we will not have reached where we are today. So I want to thank him and the members that represented the UDA coalition for coming with a spirit of give and take. We did not get everything that we wanted as Azimio, and I'm sure that there are positions that were not representing the UDA coalition, but that they agreed to accommodate in the spirit of give and take. And Mr. Speaker, the spirit in NADCO was to ensure that when we go to the next elections, Mr. Speaker, the person who wins the confidence of Kenyans, the person who garners the majority of votes, Mr. Speaker, does not face a contestation in the Supreme Court. We hope, Mr. Speaker, we'll reach a situation where we'll have the person losing an election conducting himself like Biden. I think in the USA last week, within 2 days, President Biden, who was not a candidate, but whose party, the Democratic Party, had lost an election, placed a call to President Trump, who had won through the Republican Party, and said in a democracy there must be a winner and a loser, and he was welcoming him to White House so that he can assist in managing the transition. So I hope, senators, that you will support these amendments to the elections laws, which is trying to make it easy, make it transparent, and make the path to declaration of a winner in a presidential election much easier and more transparent. In fact, Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that we really fought about was what is, I think, in clause, I think it's clause, in clause 39 of the bill. You know, Mr. Speaker, in the United States of America, you will start predicting the winner of a presidential election going by results coming from states. And Mr. Speaker, what this bill is proposing is that we now allow polling stations to have returning officers, so that if we are in Ikolomani, Mr. Speaker, by the time we are done with the counting and tallying of votes in that polling station, the returning officer will give final results and declare the winner from that polling station. So that by midnight, we should be getting results telling us, in Iborabu constituency, Boni Galwale, if he will be a candidate in 2027, I don't know whether he has presidential ambitions, it tells you Boni Galwale has taken Ikolomani. And if Senator Cheragei will be running for Gen Zs, we are told in Iborabu constituency, Senator Cheragei was number 3 or number 1. That is the spirit behind this proposed amendment, so that we don't need to wait for the commissioners in Nairobi to tell us who has won in Ikolomani. I mean, if even in Iborabu, Mr. Speaker, we have tallied votes from all the polling stations, by the close of the day, we should see a 411 telling us that candidate A has taken Iborabu. By the time we wake up in the morning, we should be knowing from all our constituencies, 290 of them, who is leading in a particular constituency. That makes the voting, the counting, tallying of results more transparent than what we have now, where you wait for returning officers to walk all the way to Nairobi before IEBC can declare who is a winner. So this is a game changer, honorable senators, that even if you want to contest a presidential election, you can narrow down to the polling stations that are contested. You don't need to sue the chairman of IEBC. You can actually select the few polling stations which are contentious, and you move to court, challenging results from those particular polling stations. Mr. Speaker, also because of the high stake in presidential elections, we are making it mandatory that the first election that should be counted and tallied is the presidential election results. So if we close the voting in a polling station, Mr. Speaker, the first seat that should have votes counted is the seat of the president. Once it's done, you move to the county governor, senator, member of National Assembly, women, county women rep, and then you finish with MCA in that order. That's what we are proposing in this bill. It's all in the spirit of making it transparent so that we adopt the system that we see in the US, where by midnight you'll be told Trump or Harris has carried Florida. That becomes the end. Next, you'll be told Texas has gone to candidate X. And then the second thing, Mr. Speaker, is to adopt technology. What makes the results to trickle in as quickly as we saw in the US is because they are using technology, Mr. Speaker. If you employ technology, you get your results faster. I don't know what is the experience of honorable senators here, but in my seat, Senate Nyamira, I waited for 2 nights. 2, Mr. Speaker. Because people are doing manual counting, you wait for 2 nights. And if you are not sure about your victory, you don't even break to go and have a meal. You can't even go and have a bath. But if we embrace technology, we can do our tallying much faster, you know, and we get our results almost the following day. Why should we vote on a Tuesday and you're being declared on a Thursday? That waiting is too long. So I hope when we get new commissioners in IBC, they will bring in technology that brings really change. In Brazil, you conclude elections and in the next Senator Chiragei went to Brazil, I think in the company of Governor Mutula, who was then Senator, Senior Counsel James Orengo, and they saw real time. But the problem in this country is that once people get positions, like you become a commissioner in IBC, you think more of how you're going to make money from that technology, instead of looking at bringing in a technology that will make the running of elections more efficient. If Brazil can use technology and declare elections within 3 hours, why not Kenya? Are we cursed? Mr. Speaker, are we a cursed country? I mean, and we use more money. If you follow, you'll find that we are paying more money for that technology than those other countries. And I've had Senator Sige telling me that even in the US, it took few hours. I think within 2 hours after the close of elections, results were trickling in. Really, we need, Mr. Speaker, when we get a chance to vet the new commissioners to IEBC, we should vet and ensure that the people who are getting a chance to serve in that commission are men and women of integrity, who can put public interest ahead of selfish interests of wanting to enrich themselves, Mr. Speaker. We don't want to hear those scandals we read some time ago about IEBC. Mr. Speaker, I want to fully support the proposed amendment that makes nomination of members of county assemblies, as proposed in Clause 19, to be people who are registered in those wards. The Speaker, the only thing we did not agree, and I hope we can find agreement, is that this should also be extended to our constituencies and our counties. If you are being nominated to represent a constituency in Starehe, Nairobi, you should ordinarily be a member who votes in that constituency, Senator Mutinda. If you are being nominated from West Mogirango in Nyamira, you should be somebody registered in that constituency. I've had agitation. Yesterday I was confronted by Senator Asige here, pitching that nominated senators should have money for county operation offices. If you need that money, Mr. Speaker, we should ensure that you come from that county. Because if you get money to run your office, it should be Senator Mutinda, Nairobi, running our office in Nairobi. Senator Asige from Mombasa, running our office in Mombasa. Senator Beatrice Oyomo from county of Homa Bay, having an office in Homa Bay, running our county office in Homa Bay. Ordinarily, you should be somebody who votes in that county or in that constituency or in that ward. So I'll be maybe asking senators, honorable senators, to reconsider whether clause 13 should be extended so that we don't just say MCA voting in that ward. Let us extend that spirit, that intent to be applicable also in constituencies and in our counties. I think it's a fair thing to do. The other point I want to make to contribute on, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of appointing polling stations, as proposed in clause 20, which is amending section 38A. Mr. Speaker, I was privileged in 2017 to be one of the lawyers who was appearing for Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in a presidential election petition. And you know, Mr. Speaker, some of the issues that crop up in that election petition is a situation where returning officers would tell us that I decided to set up a polling station in a certain place because nomads had moved. There were no people in the designated polling station. I mean, we can't do that. Polling station should be known by voters. So what this amendment to section 38 is proposing is that IBC must appoint a place that is publicized and that is known to the voters. So if we're in Nairobi and you say polling station is Stare, and for example, that should be what the voters in that constituency know, and that's where they should go and vote. If you are in West Mogrango and you say one of the polling stations is Girigiri Primary School, that should be gazetted, publicized, and known to the voters. We should not have a situation where capriciously Electoral Commission officials can set up polling stations that are not known to anybody. 3, Mr. Speaker, as you know, you practice as a lawyer, and we have had serious problems with time. If you are doing a presidential election petition, Senator Cheragay, you know the time within which you must sift through cartons of documents, prepare your petition, and file. And then when you appear before the Supreme Court, they will tell you, you cannot do scrutiny in a polling station that you did not name in your presidential election petition. Lawyers are also human beings, Mr. Speaker. We are not machines. So we are giving leeway to the election petition courts to look at issue of allowing scrutiny in polling stations beyond the time that is given, so that you don't need to restrict a council and say, if you didn't name your polling stations where you need scrutiny within 7 days, we will not allow you. We want to give our judges an opportunity to hear lawyers, exercise judicial discretion, and if they think a basis has been laid, then they can extend time and allow scrutiny. The spirit of Article 159 of our Constitution is to do substantive justice and not pay undue regard to technicalities of procedure. I know those who practice law in this House, like you, Mr. Speaker, you understand how important this particular amendment will be to lawyers. Then they proposed amendments to Section 82, access to information including technology used in an election. You know, we are trying to cure the problems that we all saw during the election petition that was filed ensuing from the 2022 general election. In 2017, Mr. Speaker, if you remember, the Supreme Court issued an order for that technology to be released. We were told the lawyers in France had not woken up. When the lawyers in France woke up, we were told the technology is also hosted in USA. The lawyers in USA were asleep. We waited till 8 p.m., which is in the US was about midday. Still, technology was not availed. So we are making a proposal here, Mr. Speaker, that the Commission should ensure that there is access of information, including any technology that is used in an election. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is public money. When we are employing technology, we are using taxpayers' money, Mr. Speaker. And we want Kenyans to have easy access to information so that everything is transparent. The spirit in Articles 80, 81, 82 is that our elections should be transparent, they should be verifiable. There is no way an election can be very viable if we are not making technology available. That is in the spirit of making Kenyans to have faith and confidence in an electoral process. It was our prayer in nadco, Mr. Speaker, that in the 2027 elections, we should not have a dispute. Everything should be so transparent that at the time we conclude the elections and a candidate is declared, every Kenyan should accept that truly that is the choice of the people. The other problem, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure most of us who are candidates have experienced, is the issue of delay, which is being addressed in clause 39. The proposal there is that each polling station should have a returning officer, and once you tally the votes, you make a declaration. But there has been a problem before. You know that you can have a polling station that is the closest to the constituency tallying center. But there can be delay, unreasonable delay, in releasing results. You finish counting even at 8 p.m., but the presiding officer will tell you, I'm not able to announce results till the following day. What we are proposing here, Mr. Speaker, if you read clause 4, we are saying that the results should be tallied within 2 hours. Within 2 hours, results should be released, everything fed into the electronic system, and everybody has access to the results. And if you delay, there should be consequences. If you unreasonably delay announcement of results, there should be consequences. In 2013, I did an election petition for a candidate in an election in Nyaribari Church. And Mr. Speaker, while we were looking through the transmission of results to the tallying center at Gusii, we discovered that the polling station that was closest to the tallying center was the last one to declare and transmit results, Mr. Speaker. And when we requested the court and the court ordered scrutiny, Mr. Speaker, we found that there was a lot of tampering of results from that polling station. So at times, presiding officers delay release of results deliberately so that they can manipulate the results, interfere with certain documents, okay, before the results are announced. So this idea of giving the presiding officers and the returning officers time is to ensure that there is no opportunity given to the presiding officer or to the returning officers to manipulate the outcome. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I know we have not prescribed in these amendments that IEBC should assist political parties in carrying nomination. But Mr. Speaker, I think time has come for political parties to allow IEBC to conduct nominations for parties. There are many regions in this country, Mr. Speaker, where nomination means everything. If you win, you are as good as a member of parliament. Lawyers will tell you, including Cheragei and yourself, that Law Society of Kenya conducts its elections using IEBC. It's not prescribed in any law. But because they want transparency, they want to build confidence in that process, they have invited IEBC to preside over and conduct elections on behalf of Law Society of Kenya. Why can't my party, the largest party I believe in Kenya, ODM, why can't ODM allow IEBC to conduct its nominations? Why can't UDA allow IEBC to conduct its election? In fact, in the same spirit, Mr. Speaker, all other bodies, public bodies, including KOTU, headed by my friend Atwoli, they should allow IEBC to assist in running or in conducting of elections for officials of those bodies. If Atwoli is a popular person, why should it be that you go to Tom Mboya and people come and shout and then you become the Secretary General? Allow IEBC to set up mechanisms in all counties, Mr. Speaker. And our Mzee Atwoli, who is very popular within the labor movement, will be elected in elections that enjoy the confidence of the workers of Kenya and any other person. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleague, senators, to kindly support this elections amendment bill that was developed through a bipartisan spirit with the majority side and the minority side that is trying to do a cleanup in our electoral process and to ensure that as we gear towards 2027 elections, we create a legal regime that will have transparent, verifiable, and uncontested elections. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Now, Senator, Senior Counsel.